Hello, guys, gals, and my non-binary pals. Get ready to get locked into the vocal minority with Nick and Steve. Now streaming live on Really American Media. Buckle up for all of the day's need-to-know news. Thanks for being part of the resistance. All right, champions, let's hop to it. 3, 2, 1, and go.
And just like that, they call it bada boom, bada bing. The vocal minority here to sing for our supper. You ready?
Is that what they call it?
I think that's what they've been calling it that lately anyway. I don't know. That's what I heard.
Okay. As long as you've been hearing. A lot of people are saying.
A lot of people are saying. Welcome to the program, The Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve. We are broadcasting live for Really American. And we're glad you're along for the ride. Thanks for being right here, right now.
Yeah. I think we are actually live, so that's progress. Yeah, you can find our website, thevocalminority.net, if you still go to websites. Otherwise, social media galore. Our personal stuff you can find on TikTok, Reddit, Facebook, Instagram, kind of. Blue Sky we're on often enough. And, of course, right here on YouTube. I mean, we have our own channel, but we are now part of the glorious team at Really American Media. So that's fun.
Hey, dude, you could use your telephone as a microphone if you know what a telephone is. It's a cell phone. But, 844-48-VOCAL as a microphone.
Sorry, go ahead.
844-48-VOCAL. That is our comment line. Call in, make a comment on the show. This is a program where, we get together and just kind of talk about the politics that are happening right here, right now. And you can join in that conversation, YouTube Live with the chat. You know what I'm saying?
Indeed you can. I was just trying to connect over to the YouTube chat, and that was us here listening to us. That was us live listening to us on the YouTube delay.
Yeah, I wondered what the hell that echo was. I was like, oh, another technical issue? No, okay.
It reminds me when we used to do this live on the radio, and we could listen to ourselves on the internet like a minute delayed, and we'd tune in to ourselves and then comment on ourselves. It was fun. So there you go.
Back in the day. Are you ready to get into some political shenanigans, Stephen?
That's what we're here for. So I would say let's do that.
This is Need to Know News. News you need to know.
Hi, Stephen. This is Clem Fandango. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Clem. Thank you. Good. Clem's always got my back, and I appreciate that. Not everyone asks if I can hear them very well, but Clem always does.
As we age, I mean, it's an important question, right?
As you age, I'm doing just fine. Thank you very much.
Good for you.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about the topic that I keep hearing coming up, and that is what are Democrats to do next? Now that we've lost the election, now that we're knee-deep into Trump world, and we seem to have a lack of leadership, and now this new Jake Tapper book is out, The Original Sin, about whether or not Biden engaged in some great conspiracy thing. Like, everyone's wondering, Nick, what do we do? Do you have the answer?
Hey, dude, is that what are you talking about? I must be out of the loop here. What's the conspiracy stuff? Well, I mean, conspiracy stuff. Like, what's the conspiracy? That he wasn't leading anything and that he was dead, pretty much?
Are you not up on the Jake Tapper book that he is constantly hawking on CNN, which seems highly unethical? But listen, and by the way, I'm okay with a news anchor that writes a book and promotes it on their show. But usually it's like, Rachel Maddow or Chris Hayes, they wrote a book about some other topic and then they promote it. Jake Tapper is promoting a book about what is essentially current events, whether or not Biden was covering up everything, his mental decline, his cancer, all that stuff.
I'm familiar with the book. I just didn't know there were any conspiracy theories involved in the whole thing. I thought it was just sort of accusations of, he was mentally dead.
Well, that's kind of the conspiracy theory, that they were covering all that up, that it was much worse than we knew, and they all knew, and they were keeping it from us, and blah, 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 blah. So,
all right.
I've got an article here that I think will tee this up from talking about an interview with Democratic strategist Basil Smikle, who, that's got to be one of my favorite names on the planet. Name voted most likely to be a Harry Potter character.
No kidding. Say it again. What is it?
Basil Smikle.
Okay. Yeah, I like that a whole bunch. It's like Mayim Bialik. It's the new Blossom, if you really think about it.
Right. It's just one of those names that are fun to say. So anyway, Basil called out his party in an interview yesterday for failing to reach voters with a message that they can relate to, even as President Donald Trump's approval ratings are plunging. So, Smichael, talking about this book, he says the party's current fixation on the former president, Joe Biden, and his reported declining health during his term in office is a perfect case in point of why they aren't connecting with voters. He says, quote, there's been a lot of conversation about what people knew about Joe Biden and when they knew it. If you actually go into the communities and talk to voters, they're not asking about Joe Biden. They're asking, what do we do now? And if Democrats don't have an answer for that question, they're going to continue to lose support. So my first question / point I would like to make about this book, Original Sin, maybe this is wrong of me. I don't care. I don't care at all. It is
about
the past.
Yeah, about Biden, you're saying you don't care?
Yes, I don't care if it was a cover-up or not at this point. I mean, I can't unring that bell. I can't undo the election.
Unless you can rewrite history, unless you have a time machine, what does it matter? I mean, the only way in which it matters is that we may want to put some things, some checks and balances into our government for future use to make sure this doesn't happen again. But yeah, we don't need to spend a lot of time talking about it. I mean, it's done and over.
Well, a point I'll probably get to later, but since you teed it up, I'll bring it up now. It probably is happening right now. You know what I mean? So everyone was saying that we were ignoring Biden, his decline in mental health, even though we had no actual concrete reports or proof of anything. And there was a lot of deep fake videos or edited videos out there where they try to make him look incompetent, and they were often edited out of context, so I just dismissed it all out of hand. But now everyone is saying, okay, so Dems, you screwed up by not holding Biden accountable, and now here we are not holding Trump accountable because that guy clearly has some sort of mental decline going on. I don't want to misspeak and call it dementia or Alzheimer's or something, but it's a mental decline, whether it's age-related or an actual illness, who knows?
Listen, I'm not a psychiatric doctor. I'm a doctor on other levels for sure, but as far as psychiatric doctor, no, I am not. But I can tell you specifically that he's got a diagnosis of crazy. I mean, he's on a runaway train. He's absolutely nuts.
Yeah, but that could just be normal Trump, not necessarily a mental decline. So what safeguards should be in place? You know, I mean, it would be nice if there were mandatory evaluation tests that had to be made public and that are not just camera, man, woman, as Trump has famously done.
Well, and Trump always talks about, I took the cognitive test and everybody was shocked that I passed. I mean, it was the highest passing grade ever. Like, why don't we see it? And why doesn't the doctor come and talk to us? Because I don't believe a word he's saying, obviously. So, yeah, this has to be like a third-party medical official, bipartisan, doing what is best for the country, saying, okay, yeah, they took the test and these were the strong points. These were the weak points. Maybe we have something to worry about. I guess you can't really do that on a world stage, though, because it would be dangerous if other countries knew what was going on mentally with our president. You know what I mean?
Well, that is a catch-22 we create then. I think we should have some sort of open and honest system. But as far as the Democrats, so hold on, somebody on YouTube saying, how about getting the Democrats' mindset out of the 90s, playing timid politics and saying staying in the centrist position won't work anymore. It's time to replace the old with the new. I guess. I mean, aren't we just trying to keep it real, keep like things fact-based, science-based, use empathy to treat other people well? Is that a centrist? Is that how far out of whack our country is? That just trying to be logic-based is now an extreme position?
It's a good question, and it's all relative to whoever, whatever your beliefs may be, Yeah, but you're right. I mean, isn't that just good sense? The issue that I think is more of a problem is we're not listening to people. I don't feel like. I think we can do a lot better with that. B, stop putting all these people that are about to expire at any moment in. Put the AOCs in. Put some of these younger, fresh blood people in. And I think that you would really generate a little buzz within our party, and I hope it happens.
I feel like our party is split into the young and the old, and we need some people down the middle. Because I do not want to see Pete Buttigieg, AOC, John Ossoff, Beto O'Rourke, like any of these young up-and-comers. I don't want them to make the Obama mistake and go right to the presidency. I know Obama was a senator first, but Obama has said since he left the office that he thinks he ran too young because now he's in his 50s and he's done. And we should be keeping these people on the shelf longer. Serve in Congress, serve in the Senate, serve in administration. Then in your 50s, maybe in 60s, then run as president.
Isn't that what the cabinet you build around you for? I mean, when I think of Obama, and I think a lot of us are the same way when you think about a love lost, like, yeah, my heart starts to hurt when I think about the fact that he's gone. I was having a conversation with Rachel about this same damn thing. Hakeem Jeffries, I'm a big fan, and I was like, oh, I could see one day that he would be like Obama. I mean, inspire that passion. She was like, he's way too young. He's way too inexperienced at this point. But if he has a cabinet around him, people he can actually trust, and good, some of these oldies that if they die, it doesn't really matter as much as if the president dies. You know what I mean?
Tell that to their children. How dare you say it doesn't matter?
Purely politics did.
No. I get your point for sure. I mean, this goes back to what you and I have talked about before, that the Democrats are not polling very well right now. That Trump's not polling well, but neither are Democrats. And as a proud Democrat, I would say no duh. Like, what are we to be happy about? What would I be polling positively on? No, we don't have a new leader. We had Biden and Harris. That got blown up. They're both gone now. That's why I don't care about whether Biden covered it up or not. Like, I can't go back on that, so I don't really care. And Kamala, I'm never supporting her for president. I mean, that's going to be a generation away before I'll back that horse again. If she wants to be governor of California or something, that's fine. But we do need fresh blood, but we need time to let that process work itself out. So now we're 3 months, 4 months, whatever, into Trump world. Like, yeah, no, there's nothing for Democrats to be happy about.
Listen, dude, we're already having this conversation in the Reynolds household with Rachel. I was telling her all of this same conversation that we're having right now. And you know what the biggest bummer of all of this is I declared, all right, I don't think I'll see a woman president in my lifetime now because we've seen it fail twice and that's shaky ground. I'm not saying that's not what I want to happen. I'd love to have a woman president, but you know what I'm saying. And as far as like Pete Buttigieg, can we have a gay president? Is that another thing that, America, all these idiots won't accept? And are we going to try it? So, yeah, a lot of these people that are great, great people that would do a really good job, are they qualified as far as being able to get the vote?
Are they electable? It's not if they're qualified or not.
That's right. Thank you, Stephen.
No, for sure. I saw a meme the other day, and I know I'm going to upset some of our liberal followers out there, but it basically said that, Trump lost to 2 qualified women over the course of 3 elections. He lost to Hillary Clinton, then he lost to Kamala Harris. And that says more about the country than it does about those 2 women. You're correct. It does say more about the country, but are we going to listen to what that is saying? I may not like that a woman seems to be unelectable currently, but will I deny that reality and just keep putting an AOC up or somebody who I think is amazing, Elizabeth Warren? Or will I deny reality, or do we want to put somebody up who is electable?
Mm-hmm. You're right. Sad but true. I think that's a Metallica song.
It is, actually, right. So,
all right, good.
So as far as this Biden book, no, I don't really care. And Basil Smikle and Harry Potter here are correct. Like, Democrats are talking about the wrong thing. We're talking about the past. We need to talk about maybe the here and now as far as accountability goes. But really, we're looking towards the midterms in 2028. So I would agree with Basil, and I would tell Jake Tapper to go shove it, because I don't care about the book. It's done. It's over. But I do care that Trump's going insane and no one seems to notice or care. And everyone on the right called Biden out left and right, but they're not calling out Trump at all, even though it is clear he's in a cognitive decline. Age-related or not, I don't care. The guy's losing it.
You know what you may be wrong about is the fact that people don't think he's in a cognitive decline. I think many people do. I don't think they care. I think they love watching what's happening right now. I think they know maybe they look at his cognitive decline differently than we do, but they know that he's not the type of person that you go meet at a local restaurant and be like, oh, he's a really good guy. Or, they know something's wrong with him. They just happen to like it.
it may be similar to what the Dems did last year. That, yeah, I mean, something seems off of Biden, but we're just going to kind of put it to the side until I know better. Having said that, though, you and I were part of the chorus of people that when he did that debate disaster that we said, like, yeah, I don't know what's going on with him, but something is, and this is not okay anymore, and we've got to abandon ship. So,
yes, 100%.
Someone on YouTube named Over It says, more than age, if Dems want to be more popular, they need to elevate more progressives. Corporate Dems prevent Dem policies that would improve people's lives. Yeah, that's a good point. Like, should we be more progressive or less progressive? Are we scaring people off with, the wokeness or whatever? Or do we lean into it? I mean, MAGA's not backing off on their craziness. Maybe we should be leaning full on into going to the left.
I was just going to say, dude, do we have to worry about leaning into what we know is right and just? If we display it, if people see that our intentions are pure and true, and this is where we're leaning and going, maybe they'll hop on board like they did with the idiot who currently sits in the White House.
Yeah, it's a big gamble. Part of me wants to just nominate a middle-aged white guy with neutral stances because I think he can win in rural Wisconsin or upstate Pennsylvania or something. But then again, I mean, somebody like Bernie Sanders has had more excitement from our side than anyone else. I do think he's probably a little old and a little kooky, but I like Bernie. So do we need a younger version of that? Not 36 or something, but, middle-aged.
Well, here's a good question because, a lot of people say, yeah, I'll take Bernie because a lot of people like Bernie, including myself. But can we have the fresh blood, the new blood of AOC with him? Do you think we can elect another female vice president?
Yes, I do think that, yes.
All right.
I mean, we already proved it once with Kamala, but yeah, I think a well-rounded ticket is certainly where things are going. And, I'm glad that we're having this conversation because I don't feel like it is happening, and I don't feel like it's happening honestly with these concerns about, is a woman electable or not? Are we too progressive? Are we not progressive enough? Like, these are honest conversations to be having, and it's what you do when you've had the snot kicked out of you in a national election.
Well, and it's just like a successful relationship, whether it's a romantic relationship or a friendship. Like if you can't look inward and see your faults and try and grow and get better, that relationship or party is going to remain stagnant and it's not going to win. It's not going to progress. So, yeah, we got to be able to have these conversations. I'm a proud Democrat, but we're doing some things wrong right now. Have you seen anything about this? It's called SAM. It's a Democrat outreach. They're investing $20 million into a study titled Speaking with American Men. Have you heard about it?
So this is another thing that Basil Smykel got into in this interview, that the Democrats are holding up in, hotel suites discussing the mentality of, white men. And basically what they're trying to combat is the fact that Joe Rogan and a bunch of those comedians like an Andrew Schultz or whatever, that group of internet spokespeople got behind Trump. So they want their own version of it. And in fact, USA Today published an article that's the title is Democrats Want a Liberal Joe Rogan to Help Them Win Elections. And this guy's dumb enough to say, I'm right here. I've never heard of him. His name is Rex Hupke, a USA Today journalist. Like, Rex, sit down and shut up. You're right. The liberal side could use a good spokesperson, but no one's heard of you. You got Nick and I right here, and you've got everyone else on Really American Media, and you've got a whole host of other well-established liberal voices out there. So I don't care if it's Midas Touch or Really American or a Brian Tyler Cohen. Like, there's a lot of voices out there right now, and the best ones are on Really American Media, obviously. But we should probably be propping some of these voices up a little more. And in fairness, we all are trying to kind of team up a little bit better than we have.
Yes. But are we too late to the party? Well, either way, we're late to the party. One of the things that they're doing with this big survey and talking to white men is placing ads in video games. Do you think that'll help Democrats reach a younger working class man, or could it backfire? It just seems so out of touch to me that, like, this is your brilliant idea. You're going to replace ads in video games. You don't need to put ads in video games, dude. You need a voice that people like to listen to and that they trust and they can endear themselves to, that talk about the issues, like Bro Rogan, dude. I mean, I'm not a huge Bro Rogan fan, but he's done a great job for what he's been doing over on that MAGA idiot side.
Yeah. Listen, the idea of putting ads in video games is not necessarily wrong. You know, you and I have been on the radio forever, and we've always talked about the fact that, yeah, radio can be an effective way to advertise, but what's your message? If I announce, hey, everything's free at the local hardware store on the radio station, I guarantee you people will rush down there and start taking all the free inventory because I put out a message that resonates and everyone wants to hear.
Sure.
But if I do some crappy messaging, no one gives a crap. So the problem is not where the Dems are advertising on video games. It's that they don't have a message to resonate with that audience.
Completely right. Completely right. And yeah, we do need to find that person. You know, who's another one like Beto O'Rourke? Like, I really enjoyed listening to him talk. Like, some of these younger politicians could be this person that did a podcast that, you know, really got the younger generation involved in moving the way of the Democrats.
Right. Vonda on YouTube is saying the Biden story is relevant. It's a slippery slope. You lose credibility when you don't call both parties out. It's relevant as far as we can chat about it. But we did call Biden out. We forced the man off the ticket. We abandoned ship with months to go. So I don't know that we didn't call him out. My only point is right now, I don't know what the point is of going backwards and doing investigations and shaming everyone. Like, I think everyone realizes they screwed up, anyone who actually knew how bad it was. So, yeah, I mean, it's worth talking about, and we've spent 20 minutes doing it. But that's the past. We have got to worry about where we are now and where we're moving forward. And someone else on here just said that, you know, if we don't win the midterms, it's all over. And listen, the midterms, I think we're going to do well, but the midterms are not the same as general elections, not only as far as turnout goes, but you don't have as many seats available. You don't, at midterms, you don't always have a chance to retake the House or the Senate or something. Like, I think we'll do okay in the midterms, and I think the Trump disdain will snowball by then. But, you know, we got to look to 28 to say the least.
Yeah, no, you're right. Once again, you're right. And Vonda's correct on one hand. We do need to be able to call our own party out. That's something that we've always done, Steve. Yeah. And if we don't do it, we're just as bad as the cult known as MAGA. So I understand that sentiment, but yeah, there's not a lot we can do. We got to pick up the pieces and move forward at some point. Jake Tapper, what are you?
Right. I mean, this is my point. MAGA would never have this discussion. We at least last year had the discussion like, yeah, Joe's worrying me, but what are we going to do? We haven't proven anything. He hasn't fallen on his face. And then he did. And then we shamed him out of the office. So,
right.
Overage chiming back in. Could Bill Burr be the left-wing Joe Rogan? Problem with people on the left is a lot of people don't want to put themselves in those crosshairs. Like, politics is so vicious and dirty, and you alienate half your audience. So does Bill Burr want to step into that, you know, circular firing squad and eliminate half his audience? I'd love it if he did. No.
Yes, but he doesn't. He wants to talk on his podcast, and he's just talking. I mean, we agree with most of the things that he's saying right now, and some of them are outrageous, but the sentiment behind them are very real and very raw and very true. But he doesn't want to live a political life, dude. I know that.
No, that's what I'm saying. We got to be propping up people that have already picked their side. People like us that have, you know, we're talking to the middle and the left, and we don't really care if we lose anyone on the right. So, you know.
That's right.
Betty's chiming in that, you know, we don't see anyone on the right calling Trump out. And yes, that's what I was just saying, that at least we're willing to have some level of an honest conversation here. And, you know, this USA Today article is correct. We do need somebody to be a liberal Joe Rogan, but it's not this guy. So good luck with that.
Oh, I was hoping for, in an Elon Musk or a Leon Musk sense, I would like to have Mark Cuban step in. I mean, he's already stood up and let his politics be known, but we could use some of that money, Mr. Cuban.
Yeah, it would be nice if we had a multi-billionaire that wants to step in. But again, they got businesses to worry about and employees and investors and all that stuff. So I don't know. Maybe a Cuban's big enough. I know Oprah and George Clooney's names get thrown out there a lot, but I don't know that those are the right choices. But yeah, it's hard to say. Did we really screw up the last election? Were we going to lose no matter what? Was it the incumbency backlash no matter what? Price of eggs were high. We have so many uninformed voters in this country that just basically said, like, I don't like what I'm paying now, so whoever's in the White House, I'm holding you responsible.
Gas and eggs, dude. It's the top priority for the president. And they control those, so get on it.
This is Need to Know News. News you need to know.
Hello, Americans. This is Paul Harvey. Stand by for news.
Hey, dude, I'm gonna go into something a little lighter, something a little more relatable to you, to me. Okay. Let's talk about weed, baby. Have you heard what the Texas legislator passed the Senate bill, SB 3, which bans all consumable hemp-derived THC products, including Delta-8, Delta-9, and other intoxicating cannabinoids?
Yeah, way to take us backwards. Way to demonize pot yet again. I think the right hasn't figured out that a bunch of them smoke pot too and like it very much. Not to mention what happened to states' rights and small businesses and tax dollars being raised. Like, this is purely a pop culture battle, a society war, trying to demonize the stoners out there. I feel like it's similar to Florida as far as why the hell do you want to live in these states anymore when they're taking away your pot and your drag shows, or forcing good teachers out of your state because why the hell would they not want to say gay? Or whatever the hell the latest MAGA agenda thing is. So, Texas, good luck to you.
Yeah, and that was one of the conversations within this pot ban, is the fact that they've done these porno bans. And like, everybody is talking about the fact that people have really started to think, like, do I want to put my personal information in based on, what I'm looking at? I mean, some people are embarrassed of it. And do I want to? I think I was listening to Sarah Silverman talk about it. And she was in Texas. She was like, I almost put it in because I wanted to beat off. But then I was like, oh, it's not worth it. I'm not going to put my personal information into this thing. So all these Republicans that are banning porn and pot are smoking pot and looking at porn. A lot of the time it's porn that you or I wouldn't look at.
It's mega porn? Is that what you mean?
MAGA porn, or who knows, underage porn. I don't know what we're talking about.
I'm not saying, I'm just saying. A lot of MAGA types are into perverted porn. So.
This is the only news you need to know. After all, this is Need to Know News. News you need to know. Enough said.
Enough said, indeed.
Okay.
You got something? You want me to go?
I'll go. We were talking about up-and-coming stars in the world of Democrats. And again, this is a young one, but she's growing on me day at a time here. Jasmine Crockett.
I love her.
I don't know if it's too early to say love, but I like her a lot. And she's back in the news. Representative Jasmine Crockett, who is from Texas, so I don't know if she's not able to smoke pot or watch porn, but this past weekend she was talking on MSNBC with Alex Witt that Trump belongs in the insane asylum. She says she tore apart Trump's West Point graduation speech, in which he veered off into topics of trophy wives, transgender women in sports, compared himself to Al Capone, brought up drag shows. She says, quote, he literally sounds like someone who's broken out of the insane asylum, like he'd just be all over the place, like get him some ADHD medicine, if nothing else, because I don't know what he's ever going to do. This gets back to the point we were bringing up earlier of how much should we be calling out Trump's cognitive decline?
How much? I mean, I think that we should be talking about it every time we see it or hear it. I mean, it's if we look, that's a great point, Steve. If Jake Tapper wants us to go back and talk about all of this stuff, like, shouldn't the lesson be that we need to call it out as it's happening while we're seeing it in real time so we can actually do something about it?
It's a fair point. I'm not a huge CNN fan. I don't think they're conspiracy left-wing media or whatever. I just don't think they're that good at what they do, so I don't watch often enough. But I have to wonder, how often is Jake Tapper calling out Donald Trump's mental decline on a daily basis. Is he writing a book about it right now? Is he holding him to his feet to the fire like he's saying the left should have done with Joe?
I believe so. I mean, I don't watch CNN a whole bunch, but I do browse through CNN stuff. And yeah, I think Jake Tapper's holding his feet to the fire. However, as we get deeper into this administration, I do think a lot of people are starting to back off, and I think that's a sad story because, with the threat of Trump saying like, hey, we're going to come after you if you're not supporting me or saying things that I don't think are true. So I do think people are backing off a little bit, but yeah, I think Tapper calls Trump out.
I don't think he's doing it enough. Again, I'm not watching him, but I just know he's not doing it enough. Perhaps that channel is, but is Jake Tapper really doing it? And he better be writing a freaking book right now about that. I think that there are so many things in Trump world that we have all just accepted. We accept that the guy sells hats while he's in the White House. We accept that he's doing billion-dollar deals in the Middle East. And we accept that he's schnizzle crazy and just sort of write it off. That's Trump. He always says crazy things.
Yeah. When you say we accept it, who are you saying? MAGA or you?
Not me personally. I'm saying as a society, we have come to accept these things. And certainly, I'm not going to call them the mainstream media, but the big players in the media world have come to accept it. And I think, unfortunately, it's because they were covering it years ago and it didn't do any good. He still won last time. He still won this time. People have accepted this. And again, we don't have any actual cognitive tests from him to compare one to the other.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right. I don't think we have any actual cognitive test. I think it's all bullcrap. I think it's all been lies. But yeah, you are right. I think that you can only scream something from the rooftops for so long. And if it doesn't make a difference, if people aren't listening and changing because of it, you're going to stop screaming. Is that where we are?
Yeah. Jasmine Crockett concluded in this interview. And by the way, we're getting a lot of love for Jasmine Crockett on YouTube. Highly educated, worked her butt off as a lawyer and a super well-spoken person. She can make her point and be polite and professional, says PS423.
Yeah, PS423 is correctamundo. And I like her. I think people like her passion. When she gets fired up, it's the way we all feel. So when somebody gets up there and, I love listening to Pete Buttigieg talk, but he is very reserved. He makes sense. Everything he says is true for the most part, but she gets passion behind her, and she really lets people know how ridiculous this is. Not normal.
Jasmine Crockett is part of this new wave of politicians that openly swear, and I don't know how I feel about that. I know it's real and relatable, but when did we give up on elected officials having some level of decorum? I know the answer. It's about 2016. But should we be joining in on that as well?
Yeah, well, you know what? You think about the youth vote with Donald Trump. I don't know. Maybe we need to stop being so square and, talk like we do when we're hanging out. Let's not reserve ourselves on stage while we're talking about it. Let's talk like we always talk. I think that's what people like, I suppose.
Do we need the liberal Joe Rogan, though, for us to be the ones swearing and keeping it real? Or, do we just want our elected officials to be doing that as well?
I think it's great balance with Jasmine Crockett. I mean, I know she swears, but everything she's saying doesn't seem punitive, I think, or crazy. I think everything she's saying is true, and she's bringing light to things, so she swears once in a while. If you have someone that's just getting on there to swear and make a video to get clicks, it's a different story.
Well, Jasmine Crockett wrapped up this interview saying, quote, "It's time for Republicans to start calling him out and start questioning his mental acuity and whether or not he is equipped to serve mentally. We know when it comes to his criminality, he is not qualified to serve, but this is just deplorable," referring to his crazy shenanigans at the West Point speech and everywhere else. So
you did a story on that for Really American, and what was he talking about, dude? I mean, I saw a couple of clips of everything, but he seemed like he was mentally declining quickly, or he was on drugs. What the hell was happening?
I felt I was mentally declining just doing the research to do that story for Really American. You know, when Trump speaks live, I do not watch it live. I always love that, like an MSNBC will say, we're monitoring it so you don't have to. And if he says something newsworthy, so I tend to go on the side of I'm not monitoring this stuff live because I can't put myself through that for an hour. But yeah, he did the West Point speech on Saturday, and I jumped on Really American and said, yeah, I'll take this story. And I did a really fun story. I had a good time with it. But it is painful to sit here and watch that. The cognitive decline, the disrespect to the troops in front of him, and him bouncing all over from trophy wives to Al Capone. And as I said in that video, just projecting left and right, that trophy wife thing where he was like, you know, sometimes it doesn't work out so well.
Yeah. As you know. Yeah. And what's this whole, this is a new Trump that we've seen with this low energy kind of old man voice and low energy.
He's a
like
statesman.
Yeah, you're right. He is.
Yes. And by the way, if anyone hasn't seen my video about Trump at West Point, I think I had one of my most well-written jokes of all time in there. Do you know what I'm referring to? Because my girlfriend Kennedy immediately texted me a quote from the line. It's the Kanye West joke. I mean, come on.
Give it to me, dude. Like, give it to the audience. We want it.
Well, I was talking about, Trump was talking about trophy wives, and I was sort of dissecting all of that, and I got into the Melania Trump thing, and I said that, listen, I'm not saying Melania is a gold digger, but she ain't messing with no broke election rigger. I managed to rhyme the N-word without referencing the N-word, and I managed to zing her. I mean, that was a hip-hop reference. It was a pop culture reference. And how do you make an N-word joke without ever bringing the N-word up? I think it was well-written and brilliant, if I do say so.
Yeah, a little pat on the back.
Congratulations.
Yeah, went over my dad's head, but my girlfriend got it, so that's all that matters.
Good. You're doing good work over there, Steve.
I'm trying. So there you go. That's my Jasmine Crockett update for y'alls.
All righty.
This is Need to Know News. News you need to know.
Hello, Americans. This is Paul Harvey. Stand by for news.
Listen, Stephen, as a former resident of California, this story will matter to you. This is a funding dispute. President Trump threatens to revoke federal funding from California. The dispute kind of centers around the state's support for a transgender athlete competing in women's sports.
Yeah.
All right. This move obviously has kind of ignited a heated debate over states' rights and federal intervention. But people are arguing about this, that the decision is completely, obviously, politically motivated and could impact various federal programs within the state. This is an interesting thing to think about because, do you remember Trump was talking about when he first made his executive order on transgender people playing in women's sports? Do you remember? He had somebody stand up, and I can't remember her name, and she was like, "We're not changing it."
I don't remember her name. Are you talking about the woman that got hit in the face with a volleyball and claimed to have brain damage or something?
Yeah, that keeps playing sports and
right. Transgender athletes have superhuman power apparently, and women apparently have a thin skull because the implication is if he had hit a man in the face, that would have been okay.
Yes, and then you had that governor who said like, "Hey, we're not changing it." I believe it was in maybe Maine. Yes. I don't know. She said, "Hey, I'll see you in court," and she won.
Follow the law. Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to continue to follow the law. And she said, we'll see you in court. And, Trump said, I'll look forward to that. That'll be an easy one. And it wasn't. He lost. So this brings up the conversation of, okay, so they're literally talking about one athlete here that is a trans female that is running track. And this is a president to all people of this country who now says, I'm going to pull funding for California for millions of people based off this one citizen.
Yeah. And I love that he always forgets there are millions of conservatives in California. Orange County has a predominantly conservative, population. The central part of the state of California, where almost all of your food is grown at, those are all conservatives. I used to live in a county that was conservative. My elected official was a MAGA Republican. So I love that he's willing to stick it to his own base to try to make some political points. There's a few problems here, though. I mean, first of all, California is a very progressive state. You are, supposed to identify people correctly in schools or workplaces if they're gender neutral or transgender. Just, don't dead name them. They're progressive in backing all that. But Gavin Newsom recently came out and said that he thinks that transgender athletes can be a big problem. So I'm curious to see how Newsom, who I am a fan of, how he threads that needle. Is he just going to simply rely on what the current law is, or is he going to try to find a happy medium for a solution that's ultimately looking for a problem? In other words, you're talking about one athlete in a state of millions of people. So thank God California is so big. So we have one person that this is a national debate about, and you're threatening funding for an entire state because of one person who, to the best of my knowledge, has not set the world record or something.
No. And let's think about that for a second on a larger scale, because as Trump was campaigning to be president for this second time, I mean, it was obviously a huge conversation. It was something that he ran on. If you have California, this large state of California, and there's one person that is playing sports, how many do you think are in the average state? 0.1, 0.2? Right.
Most conservative states, I would challenge you to find someone. Again, this is a solution looking for a problem. It's something that in principle they're all upset about. But again, it's hypocrisy, because what happened to letting businesses be business, not having big government meddle? You and I have said for years on this topic that I understand that there are two sides to this debate. I understand there may be certain sports where a man who transitioned to a woman may have an unfair advantage. I'm not dumb. I'm willing to address that issue. But I'm willing to let the individual sports leagues come up with their own freaking rules, and then we should all abide by them. So if there is some sport that would discriminate against a transgender woman, fine. Sorry. It is what it is. If that's what that sporting league came up with, then we all need to respect it. Or don't buy tickets, and then they'll let the free market. But let them work it out. Stop letting the government, especially the federal government, weigh in on these issues.
You're exactly right. And, we've always talked about women's sports on our podcast. And boy, is it a touchy subject. But when you go into the conversation, you have to think about the fact that men and women's sports are different on a lot of different levels. One of those levels is ticket sales. The Women's Sports League of Pro Athletics, we haven't seen a huge desire for large scale ticket sales. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But suddenly, all these people care about women's sports.
Right.
Like, I've never thought, your money doesn't show that you care about women's sports. Right. You're looking to be outraged about something. And we're seeing outrage. But how far will President Trump take that? Because the impact on a state like California, having one transgender track and field runner, we got to think about federal and states' rights. I thought that was a big thing. Let the states work it out. But no, now he's going to pull funding for this, and the impact on communities to consider. This is so far what we know. Funding will be cut for education, healthcare, and infrastructure in California. 2 out of the 3, you can definitely say those are going to impact many lives if funding is cut for those things based off this one person.
Potentially, yes. The fun thing about California, whether the rest of the country wants to acknowledge it or not, we are a social, pop culture, and economic powerhouse. If any state could become an island, and I don't mean that literally, although California seems to be sliding into the ocean, I'm saying that California could stand on its own 2 feet. We have a gigantic economy. I think at last count, it's the 5th largest in the world, just the state of California. The rest,
I think it's 3.
Is it up to 3 now?
Yeah.
I would think you're probably right. So the rest of this country would be absolutely screwed without California. And part of me wants to see Newsom just wall it off. Not literally, don't build walls, but just say, like, fine, we'll survive on our own money, much like Harvard is saying. Harvard's got billions in their reserves, so they can do just fine. They can outlast the next 3.5 years of Trump, and so can California. And as I've always said, Nick, California is the greatest state in the union. And do you know why? I have a foolproof metric to prove it's the greatest state.
Brad Pitt.
No. The fact that more songs have been written about California than any other state. I challenge you to prove me wrong on that. You won't get another state even close to it. Everyone loves California, okay? And most conservatives, it drives me nuts when they're on like Facebook admonishing California. You're on a company based out of California, on a smartphone that's probably an Apple that's based out of California, and you're quoting a movie star that's based out of California, or your favorite rock band everything good is based out of California.
If there needs to be a mouthpiece in this country for the CA, it is this man sitting across from me. All I ask, Mr. Newsom, is that if you do build that wall, take it up to Oregon and Washington. Like, let's just go all the way up, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah. I've been saying for a few months now, don't let Canada become the 51st state. Let the West Coast just join Canada. I'd be completely fine with that. So,
yeah.
We'll see what happens. I think we got time for one more story. You want to do that?
Yeah, please do it. There you go.
Need to know news. News you need to know.
All right. Last story, and I appreciate all the comments coming in on YouTube. You guys seem to be having your own discussion, so that's fun. I'll leave you to it. All right, last story here. The FBI is set to probe the Biden White House. Why? Do you remember that stupid cocaine story where they found a baggie of coke on the White House grounds?
Yeah, I thought it was left behind by DJT or his son or something.
That was certainly our joke, but yeah, they want the FBI to investigate that. That happened in 2023, I think it was. The FBI is looking into an incident of cocaine found in former President Joe Biden's White House in 2023, as well as the leaked Supreme Court draft opinion on Roe v. Wade, which to some extent, sure, if you want to figure out where that leak came from, good luck. It probably came from somebody higher up in the Supreme Court world. But this notion that we're going to investigate whoever dropped a bag of coke, how the hell are you going to investigate that at this point? The Secret Service closed that case back in 2023 from a lack of physical evidence. Because
I was going to say that maybe Kash Patel is hard up, dude. I mean, maybe he wants that cocaine. Why else would you be doing this? Why, Steve?
Political points. Let's see. Shortly after swearing in, the director and I, this is Dan Bongino, who I guess was a former conservative talk show host that I never heard of. He says that we evaluated a number of cases of potential public corruption that understandably have garnered public interest. Those are the key words right there. And that public interest obviously came from MAGA world. Even though the whole Trump family has a long history of some nose candy, they were so upset that somebody in the White House, and who the hell knows who it was, dropped a bag of coke. So now they want to go back and try to shake the tree and figure this thing out, which will be impossible to do. Talk about a cold case.
Of course, dude. This is just like you said, it's for people to get involved in, to talk about, to shout from the rooftops all about, Biden was a cokehead. I mean, what a waste of time and money. Do you want DOJ? Do you want the Department of Government Efficiency, Waste, Fraud, and Abuse, or not? You have to decide, because spending any money, time, or resource on this crap is unbelievable to me. I mean, what a waste of time.
Yeah, there's been a thread through these stories of hypocrisy, of selective outrage, of when it owns the libs, we're going to go after it. But if it infringes on our rights to have silencers or gun stocks or whatever, then states' rights, don't tread on me. Big government should keep their hands out of my pockets, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, when it comes to owning the lib, they will sell their souls to the hypocrisy gods left and right. And this Coke story, good freaking luck. We haven't figured out who shot JFK, but we're going to figure out who dropped a baggie of Coke 2 years ago with what? With what possible evidence? So all it will be is a waste of time and money, which they've spent months telling us that is the biggest problem with government nowadays. Yet here we go down hypocrisy memory lane.
And we're taking grandma off oxygen, but we would like to pay for this. We got to figure it out. Dude, did you see? First of all, I want to make the point that, you know what? Joe Biden, God rest his soul. I mean, I know he's not dead yet, but he's on the way out. Yeah. No, he's on the way out, dude. I mean, as far as Trump said, he's on stage 9 cancer.
Bad, yeah.
That's really bad. We've never even heard of it before. But let Biden finish off his life, dude. Whether you agree with Biden as our president or not, he gave his life to service of this country in many different ways, and for all intent and purpose, is a good man. I mean, just let him be, dude. You think Biden was doing cocaine in the White House? That's ridiculous. I don't know if you saw Trump's Happy Memorial Day truth or tweet, that he made. Did you see it at all? I'm not going to read the whole thing, but
I did. And by the way, didn't I predict last week that he would say Happy Memorial Day? Which we discussed, you're not supposed to say happy. People died today.
Yeah. I mean, it's so much garbage that obviously I won't give it the time, but I will say that he says Happy Memorial Day to all, including the scum that spent the last 4 years trying to destroy our country through warped radical left minds. Let Biden die in peace, you absolute crap bag. Yeah. Like, it's enough already. You're in office. Maybe forever, King Trump. Let it go. Leave Biden alone. And Jake Tapper, you're right. We started the program off talking about Tapper and his book. Let Biden go. He's dying, dude. Let him do it in peace.
I don't know if Trump realizes this, and I assume he's not a loyal listener of ours, but every time since Inauguration Day that he uses the word Biden, what I hear is weakness. That he is a weak man that has to deflect blame to the last guy, can't take accountability, is just trying to find somebody to pick on and deflect away from his shortcomings. So much like when I see some moron driving a Tesla, I just assume you're a raging idiot. When I hear Trump say the word Biden, it's just weakness, a weak man.
Completely weak man, and like we talked about when he was campaigning, it was like at a concert, when you have idiots being like, play the hits, the people actually said that at Trump rally, like, give us the hits, dude, lock her up, talk about Biden, They love that stuff. That's why he keeps doing it, and he is weak. You are correct.
It's part of the cognitive decline. He can't learn new things, so he just sticks to the old hits, and I find it very thin and weak.
Yes, indeed. Well, I hope everyone had a Memorial Day worth having. I will not ever wish you a happy Memorial Day, but I hope you spent a little time thinking about the freedoms of this country. That should get you jazzed up because they seem to be leaving. So thank you for being part of the resistance. You're doing what you can right now. We can always do more, but thanks for listening to the podcast.
Yeah, and as we keep saying, getting vocal and staying vocal is about all we can do right now. Those of us in the liberal media will put the spotlight on it, but those of you in the comment section, you are the ones that can also stay vocal. Comment, like, share, spread this message everywhere. Make other people that are like-minded not feel like they're on an island by themselves, because so many liberals have tuned out recently.
Yes, it's called fatigue, political fatigue, so...
Check out our website, thevocalminority.net, and you can find our individual socials on TikTok, Reddit. We have a YouTube channel, Blue Sky we're on. But we are proud, and we are part of Really American Media now. So we're doing this podcast live twice a week right here, and Nick and I have joined with Tony and Kenny and Chip and some of the others in doing the daily short form videos. So find those as well.
Yes, and call our comment line, 844-48-VOCAL, The Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve. Thanks for checking us out. Until next time.
This has been a production of The Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve. Thanks for joining us on the Really American platform. Make sure to like and subscribe so you continue to get the content you need to stay in the fight. And remember, for every new subscriber, Trump's ego isn't the only thing that shrinks. That's a penis joke. Stay vocal, friends. Until next time.